Think retirement means settling for soup specials and counting pennies? Well, think again. The truth is, the golden years can still be golden without breaking the bank. You just need to know where to look. And today, I'm showing you 10 towns where retirees are living well and living affordably and loving it. And yes, you might be surprised where the list takes us. So let's go town hopping and have some fun. All right, well, we're going to start out at number 10. And number 10 probably is, of all the towns, well, I think it's a mix between Texas and Idaho. So number 10 is Boise, Idaho. Now, we visit Twin Falls and we visit everywhere in Idaho. We absolutely love Idaho. I think in the last probably 5 years, we've been about 20 times. And one of the things about Idaho, and not just Boise alone, is it is a sprawling area that offers small town, big town, and everything in between. And I think that Idaho is probably one of the most underrated Northwest gems. And I feel that it's clean, it's vibrant, and packed with outdoor charm. So outdoor charm, what does that mean? Well, let me tell you, on the Snake River is some of the best darn fishing that you will ever see. And all through Idaho, there is some absolutely incredible fishing. Now, the cost of living here is a little higher than normal. It's about 6% above the national average. But if you're talking about West Coast cities, I think it's probably about 18% lower. So the average home value or home price in Boise, now keep in mind, we're not talking Twin Falls or we're not talking Pocatello, we're talking Boise, is $438. But if you get out to like Twin Falls, Pocatello, you may be paying in the $250 range. I think one of the key benefits about Idaho is there are tons of affordable options, and it's really, so focused on the Pacific Northwest lifestyle. And Idaho's got desert, it's got mountains. Oh, and wow, some of the most incredible snowmobiling I've ever been on. And, when the average home value is about $438, you really, you start to really think about, what's that town like? Well, we're going to talk about number 9 first, and that's going to be Oxford, Mississippi. And the cost of living there is 14% below average. Home of the Old Miss, vibrant culture, and lots of learning. And here, the average home value is about $328. It's got great colleges, and, it seems that it's got I love the, downtown culture. I'm always wanting to go shopping. And it seems that Mississippi doesn't lack at all on the outdoor vibe. And for me, I live in Las Vegas, and I'm always wanting to be outside. So number 8 is Bella Vista, Arkansas. Now, honest, I did not visit Bella Vista, so I had to go to Google and take a good look around. One of the things that is inevitable here, or it seemed to be extremely obvious, was that it has a lot of planned retirement communities. And, if that's your thing, it's a haven for that. And one of the communities I looked at had 7 lakes and 9 golf courses. And the other thing it seemed to have was a lot of trails. Now here, interestingly enough, the cost of living was 8% below average. And, it may or may not be one of those places you're thinking about, but the average home price was $333,000. So, that's a vacation lifestyle that's more than affordable. And look, it's throwing in the golf on the side. So next, we're going to move on to Florida. Here's a town that, again, I drove through, and it was not a town I had ever heard of. So number 7 is Hermosa, Florida, where the manatees roam. Now, that is their town slogan. And again, I had to get on a kayak and paddle out and see what they were talking about. And, you know, they have the mangroves there and lots of them. And amazing amount of manatees. And manatees are sort of a cross between a whale and a sea lion. You know, they're huge and they don't make any noise whatsoever, and they just glide around like a gentle giant. And the other thing that we saw were a whole lot of waterfront homes that were actually fairly affordably priced. So the cost of living here is 17% below average. Who would have thought you could live anywhere in Florida for 17% below the average? And the home prices there, we looked at some waterfront homes for $319,000. Now, they weren't 6,000 square feet. They weren't 3,000 square feet. They were more in the 1,500 square foot range, but $319,000 for an oceanfront home. And, you know, it's sort of centrally located in Florida as far as the coast goes. And it was quiet, and no Miami prices or the other thing, Miami drama. You don't want to be in the news every day. All right, so we're going back to Arkansas one more time for number 6, and that is the Hot Springs Village, Arkansas. Nature's spa on a budget. And here was another oddity. So when I really started looking around here, the first thing that you immediately notice, you go, okay, let's go drive around, honey, and take a look. Well, I would guess that probably 90% of the area is gated. So you can't really drive inside and take a look. But, you know, it's a budget community. Oh, and it did state that it was the largest gated community in the United States. Now, again, you know, Arkansas seems to be special here. It had 11 lakes, 9 golf courses, hiking, and a whole lot of hot springs. You got to go on Google, look it up, and look at some of the photos. It's absolutely beautiful. Now, here, the cost of living is 3% below average. And the average home value, we looked at some of the, we did get into 2 gated communities. And the average price in the gated communities, right backing the golf course, and there was, you know, everything back to golf course, was about $295. And it had a lot of nature. It was very wooded. It seemed to have a great community. And this was all valued in, you know, one absolutely beautiful bundle. So, are you feeling inspired yet? Drop a comment with your dream town or one I missed so I can go look at it on our next trip. We're going out again May 20th. So in May, we're going to do another, I think, probably 6,000-mile trip, and we're going to take a look around Texas, and we're going to take a look around, I think, southern Florida. So make sure, and while you're there, hit the subscribe button for more retirement goodies. I'll tell you, I got lots of them. All right, so now we're dropping down the list. We're at number 5. Now, this is one of those places. My son lives just a short distance from here. And number 5 is Green Valley, Arizona. It's a desert dreamland. No snow, really no noise, just lots of pickleball. It's a town for me. And the home value here, even though one thing I did notice here in Arizona was that all the homes look the same. So that was kind of really friggin' bizarre. But the home values were $295. And we noticed a lot of homes that had RV parking, and a lot of those were priced. We saw some, I think they were D.R. Hortons, that had RV garages, which in that temperature you really need it, and they started in the $379 range. So that was a really cool area, and pickleball courts everywhere. I mean, it was just built around pickleball. So I love that one. All right, moving to number 4, Pueblo, Colorado. Sunshine, festivals, and mountain views without their neighbor Aspen prices. So again, here was a fairly reasonable $289 average price, and you could still live 15 minutes from a ski resort in the $289 price. And if you wanted to get closer to the mountains, if you're a real ski fanatic, you could live, I think, probably a block or two from the slopes for under $400. I would say probably $395, $385-ish. And we looked at quite a few lots that were unbuilt, that were supposedly being priced as spec homes in the 380 range, right with the slope actually at their back door. All right, we're going to scoot across the country to number 3 and Morgantown, North Carolina. Well, this, I have to say, Blue Ridge Beauty. So, last trip, we sort of got a wrong direction, and we ended up taking the motorhome with the F-150 behind it, and we drove through the Blue Ridge Mountains on our way to Charlotte. And I have to tell you, it was comedy afterwards and absolutely on the edge of your seat driving in. But I have to say that, North Carolina has really so much to offer. Great hiking, great communities, great lakes, and we constantly wakeboard and surf in North Carolina, and it is, absolutely beautiful. I wouldn't replace it, but I'm not moving there. It's, a little far from the family. All right, we're dropping down. We're getting close now. Number 2, Kingsport, Tennessee. Again, it's still got that Appalachian chill and feel about it. You're not far from the mountains, and you're not far from hiking and ATVing. Oh, and something else we didn't mention is that there is some incredible fishing. And we didn't go out this last time, but we went out the time before, and the fishing there was just absolutely awesome for rainbow trout. And, in the Appalachians, the average price is in the $241,000 range. Well, here we are. We've worked our way all the way to number 1, Abilene, Texas. Small town charm, art, and barbecue. Oh man, I love barbecue. So, the interesting thing about Texas, if you look at a major manufacturer like Horton, and I'm not going to mention the rest, but we did a comparison, and it was just hilarious to me, is that the home in Texas was in the $200,000 range, and it was about 1,700 to 2,200 square feet. Now, you take that exact same home, we won't mention the manufacturer again, and you look at that in Portland, Oregon, and that home is $650,000. Same size lot, same everything. I mean, the Texas homes were staged, and I think even with staged, completely furnished everything, they were in the $225,000, $245,000 range, and wow, I have to say that the price, if you want a bargain, I'm telling you, Texas is the place to be. And, you're close to the Riverwalk, you're close to Austin, Houston, you can head south and head to the ocean and Padre Island, and there are so many friggin' places to go. But remember, driving across Texas is a big drive. All right, today, the final takeaway, retiring. Well, it doesn't mean retiring broke. I think you just got to think about what retiring means to you and how you want to spend your retirement. What do you want to do? Do you want to go fishing all day? Do you want to play golf all day? Well, that's the number one thing to consider. Look, you don't need $1 million in the bank to retire in style. You just need to use your money wisely. What you also need is the courage to think differently. Don't think I have to live down the street. Don't think I have to live in the neighborhood. Wow, it's your time. Go live where you've always dreamed of living. And sometimes it doesn't have to be about price. We've got 10 opportunities here to live in the $300,000 range and have fishing and hunting and RVing and camping right in your back door. If any of these towns got your heart pumping or your wallet dancing, leave a comment and let's dream out louder. Remember, you are the business, your life is the story, your passion is the product. Thanks for watching. Brett on the Go for retirement today. And hey, check the description for links to some of those cool places.